on average, salons that work with me add an extra $75K to their bottom line within the first year. So that is an amazing statistic that I'm really quite proud of. But what that means to you and why I'm sharing it with you is not to brag. Like, it's not about me. I'm so proud of those women and the things that they have done in their businesses, and that's on average, right? So there are some that are far more. But if you want to add, like, let's just say 50 grand to your bottom line in the next 12 months, excuse me, there are some things you've got to do. There are some things that you have to address, and you have to figure out where you're going to get that from and what's feasible. How's my husband? What's feasible? Like, how are you going to do that? And so, like, when it comes to adding that 50K to your bottom line, like adding that this year, how do we do that? Well, first we have to identify a couple of things, and I have a whole, like, it's a free training actually that you could join me. I'd love it if you would. It's called 5 Ways to 50K. I don't know if it's available when you're watching this, but it is available a couple of times a year. And I tweak it and change it every time I teach it. It is a 5-day live event, which it's really cool right now. That's how I'm teaching it anyways, at the time of recording. But literally, you guys, like, when you think about adding that revenue to your business, the most important thing that you have to do is figure out where you can add it that doesn't crush your business in the meantime. So, like, what's safe? Like, I don't want you to overhaul your entire business to try something to add 50 grand when actually it's gonna, like, cut, like, 100 out. Like, that's not it. We need to be responsible as we do these things. And I'm not saying this because it's happened to any of my clients, because it hasn't happened to me either. But I was having a conversation today with one of my coaching clients, and I was saying, like, we're doing all of this, and this has the potential to add like 100, 200. I mean, this could be a whole other business on itself. Like, it really could be a whole thing. And I think at that point I would move it outside of the umbrella of my salon. I would make it its own entity. But currently that's not what we're doing, right? And so we're talking about physical products in this example. And I'm not really spilling beans on that, but I will in time, or you can send me a DM if you want to know. But it could be a whole thing. But I'm like, I'm not doing that, even though I do believe it has legs and it will fly or whatever. I'm so cautious. Like, I'm not about to be like, let's just like rip the Band-Aid off and see what works. No, like, let's be super intentional, super thoughtful, and mindful of the investment. Financially, yes, but also how about the time? Let's think and like be mindful about investment of our time. Like, if we want our businesses to be low maintenance, if we want to hit 7-figure words hard, 7-figure years, and we want to have these systems and things to support our business, like, you gotta go slow. And that is really disheartening for a lot of people, because they don't want to go slow. They want it right now. Like, in my family, you've heard this before, but it's like, I want my Oompa Loompa right now, Daddy. Like, we say that when we're just like being bratty, because and that is how I feel sometimes in business. But it's there's no room for that. We've got to give things the time and attention that they need. And so while I want for you to add 75 plus, I want you to double your income. That can happen too. Like, I really want that to happen for you, but I don't want you to do it in a way that it's not sustainable. You've got to grow incrementally. You've got to solidify each level. And that's what we're talking about in all of these videos. That's what we're talking about here in, these salon systems and stories. It's foundational, and I cannot breathe. So I'm going to stop talking to you and blow my nose. But sorry if that's too much info. At the end of the day, at the end of this video, I just want you to think about, how could I be more mindful? How could I be like more intentional with what I've got going on in my business, so that the growth that I get from implementing all of these things that we're discussing over this 100 days is long lasting for you, because that's what it's all about. That's when stuff gets to compound and really start to take off, not just financially, but in the way that you get to live and the way that your business gets to operate as a salon owner. Like, that's where it's at. That's what low maintenance business is about. That is what I want for you. And I think you want that too, but you have to be willing to say, go all in, be Delulu, right? Like we talked about that too in some other videos, but also temper yourself with reality and do the work that the systems will then be able to withstand that next level of growth that you're creating.